Dallas-Fort Worth is the most liquid market in the country for sure when it comes to multifamily.
Welcome back to The Real Grind, where we interview the awesome entrepreneurs and real estate folks, and we sip on the best cup of
coffee.
People ask all the time, it's like, do I have to really give that slurp? Why do you do that?
Look at the best wine drinkers out there. What do? Oh, no, they swirl first, right?
Yeah, they swirl. But
the
slurp is a tradition, man. You gotta do it because you allow air to come in with the liquid that you're drinking in the beverage, and that's what makes it great. But Italo, I just want to point it out that since we started the show, okay, which is over a year ago, and everywhere we go, people have a little stash of coffee. Hey man, try this coffee here, put in your show, and people are shipping us coffee from all over the world for us to try here on the show, and it's been amazing. But people are constantly asking, what coffee are you trying out?
Yes. We're trying a lot of different coffees, but we do have that special coffee that that's our go-to, that's our safe choice, right?
So yes, but guess what we're doing? So we're launching our own coffee brand, which is a secret right now, but it's gonna launch soon. And what we're gonna do, so every 3 months, every quarter, we're gonna come in and feature this coffee that the Real Grind, it's our favorite that we have tried, so you guys can try it at home as well. So keep tuned that we're gonna launch this brand in just a little bit, okay? But guess what? Today we had a special guest that we're gonna talk about. They always say it's good to have a broker friend, and we just made one.
Right here.
He's gonna be here in the show. Keep tuned, let's get the show started.
Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee, the real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
All right, so our next guest, he's raised in St. Cloud, Florida, just a little south of Orlando. He was an officer in the U.S. Army when he began investing in single-family real estate. Now, a multifamily broker, right? He's invested over 32 deals and 6,400 units. He's a co-founder of GREA Multifamily Investment Sales and Advisor Company, superstar listing broker here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Welcome on the stage, Mark Allen. Let's go. What's up, my man?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. I know, man. It was like season 2. Let's get a clean cut, It's actually
the beards came in, 2010 to 2020. Now we got to bring in the fresh shave.
I know. You know what's funny, dude? I was actually going through my phone and it's like all the successful people that made it, they don't have any beards. I was like, shit, is that a sign or something?
Yeah.
But my wife actually likes the beard, and she's like, wants to grow back. Brother, thank you so much for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
I know we met through events and stuff like that, but we never had a chance to sit down. I'm actually glad that today we're sitting down and having a conversation trying some coffee.
Me too. Looking forward to it.
Let's go. And say no farther that when we're talking about kick-ass, this guy is making it happen. I know a few people that bought deals from you guys, and I know what an awesome service, brother. But let's go back and talk about your beginnings, man. So where is the St. Cloud is?
St. Cloud, I usually just say Orlando, but St. Cloud's it's about 45 minutes south of Orlando. Growing suburb. I was at a real estate conference in December. It was in Miami. It was interesting because I sat down at a breakfast table, and, I met a guy that was sitting, across the table from me, and I asked, what he does. And he said, I'm a developer, out of Atlanta, Georgia, but we develop here in Florida. And I was like, oh, okay. Where do you have projects? And he's like, first city he mentioned, St. Cloud, Florida.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, man, we're on the map. We're on the map. But, anyways, yeah, just a growing suburb of Orlando. Obviously, Florida, Orlando in particular, growing, very much so like Texas and Dallas-Fort Worth. So yeah, I grew up there, and my father was in real estate, and his parents were in real estate. They were local residential real estate agents.
Oh, wow.
So ultimately, I think he helped push me into real estate investing. And here I am today.
There you go, man. Very good. And so as growing up, the real estate, what you guys did, like single family homes and sell brokerage, or?
Yeah, so in Florida, it's not like the Wild West here in Texas where anyone can be a builder. So you got to get a license. And so he was a licensed general contractor in the state of Florida. he, primarily custom homes, and he grew his business throughout the 2000s, put all of his eggs into one basket being his business. He was buying lots, buying land, and building homes. And then he got crushed during the Great Recession. And I was off at college at that time. And I got a $35,000 loan at 0.5% interest rate. And so this is 2009. And he said, hey, I know it's a heck of a time to buy real estate. I've got no money. I've got no credit. But he's like, I'm going to help you buy something. So anyways, there was a company that really helped him. It was a loan acquisition company. So they bought non-performing notes. And so they bought a lot of his construction debt and line of credit and contacted him, say, hey, we now have taken over these assets. They were, it was land, it was homes being constructed, it was homes that were finished, and he couldn't sell them. They were like $1 million plus price points, which at the time, 20 years ago in Florida was a luxury price point. So anyways, the market shifted. They helped him out. They gave him work. And I think, there's a lot of lessons learned from that. He said, I would have diversified a little bit, maybe not just in real estate, but also outside of real estate too.
Right,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah, they talked about diversification, especially in the industry you are. But what made you go to the Army, man? How was that about? Was that a dream of yours? Was that
No.
what was?
I remember. So I was a high school football player, and it was my best option of getting a college scholarship was football. Right. I played basketball. I played baseball. I was just mediocre at those sports. Football was not my favorite sport, but I was best at it. I was a wide receiver. So anyways, I got a letter from Army football one day, and I was
Army
like, Army? I asked my mom, do I have to go to the Army if I go here? And she said, yeah, that's West Point, the U.S. Military Academy. And I said, the heck with that. I threw it away. And she was like, no, I think you should consider it. It's a really good school. So anyways, that's how I ended up there. All in all, I had both the Air Force Academy and West Point Army football recruit me. And, frankly, it was tough. Like at 18, you don't know what you want to do. It's like there's all my friends were going to Florida State University, University of Florida. And then I get there and I'm in this military prison, and they're having fun at these universities, running around, enjoying, the college life. And I just didn't have that experience. But, it was a different path, but I'm thankful.
No, for sure. That's what I hear a lot about kids that go there because, you're right. A lot of us kids, they don't know what the hell we want, right? Yeah. But I believe that everybody that served, a lot of them get that discipline that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise, right? Yeah. And do you feel that way?
Yeah. I feel like I grew up that way, and I didn't have any family. My grandparents were, in the Army and the Air Force, but my parents had nothing to do with the military. But, my mom and my dad instilled that discipline from an early age, wanting me to make my bed, having chores. And so
that's good.
It was an easier transition, I think, than maybe some. But it definitely helps. And I think that, just a lot of the leadership and management training, I think that's, really helped me today.
Absolutely, man. And I wanted to serve when I was a kid, but, at that time I was transitioned with, if we're going to stay here in U.S. or going back to Brazil, I end up not doing it. But I like the military, man. I really do. I think it's cool. How long? So it was just the college period, and after that, you just decided not to pursue?
Yeah. So when you go to one of the academies, you have to pay back your education by serving in the military. So Air Force Academy, I would have went and served in the Air Force, Naval Academy in the Navy. West Point is the Army. So I served 5 years, and they call it 5 and fly. So I did my time, paid back my school, and then I got out. So, there's a lot of good things about it. Yeah. For me, I didn't like rules. I didn't like big organizations. They're very inefficient. And it's like, they tell you where to live, what to wear. Like, if I wanted to go visit Austin, Texas, or if I wanted to go visit Dallas because I was stationed at Fort Hood last, I think that was in my radius. If I wanted to go outside a 500-mile radius, I had to put in a pass, and they could say, no, we're not going to allow you to go because of, but I'm like, I just didn't like that control.
Yeah, I guess you put it that perspective. So what'd you do after that? You just went straight to real estate, or?
Yeah. So, I told you I bought my very first real estate investment actually in college. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath, foreclosed condo. fixed it up, rented it out to a Section 8 tenant. And so that kind of got me going. Once I was in the military, the next purchase was utilizing my VA home loan. I bought a single family home, 4 bedrooms, rented out 3 bedrooms to buddies. I think they call that house hacking. Yeah. And then from there, I went to a Kiyosaki weekend course, kind of, like R2R event almost. But I went into credit card debt, which really forced me. I mean, there was some good education in it. I didn't learn a whole lot, but what it did was kind of light a fire to pay off that debt. So I went out and started doing little to no money type deals, like mortgage wraps, just creative financing structures, which, frankly, I think has helped me today. There's a lot of, it's just helped me in negotiation and making deals happen. Not that there's too many creative financing deals in large apartment buildings, but it's helped me to think more creatively.
Absolutely, man. And I can't wait to hear, like, how'd you get on the multifamily and now you're broken and kicking ass, dude. We're going to hear a little bit of that story, but guess what time it is, brother?
Time to drink some coffee.
Coffee time. Let's go. I heard talking pre-recording. That's why I shouldn't have this conversation as pre-recorded. But he already hinted that he doesn't like coffee that much, man. And I was like,
blow the whistle in there, But dude, I love people that don't drink that much coffee before they come to the show. Not that I'm gonna convert you into a coffee drinker.
Well,
maybe it's my goal, but I have a lot of friends that went through the military and all that stuff, and that's what they say. Coffee there is just
horrible.
Woo! Yeah, it will definitely wake you up because that thing is brutal.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a different experience. So I got this one in here. Matter of fact, from one of our friends, Lydia. Thank you so much for sending us this gift. But she's in Florida as well. So she said, I have a friend that has a specialty coffee farm and I want you guys to try it. Send it to us, and here it is. So this is straight from our friend from Florida. And
I said in the beginning of the show, man, people just see us like bringing a cup of coffee. It's like they're bringing us coffee and stuff. But excited for you to have you try. This is not your typical coffee that you're going to have. This is going to be it's just, we're going to talk about wine.
Yeah, but we're going to try it together because like I said, this is the first time we're all trying this type. So this is going to be interesting. So the way we drink this type of coffee, smell it like wine, slurp it like when you're doing like wine tasting, let it sit a little bit, and then you go through it, okay? Y'all ready? Rock and roll.
That's really fruity forward.
Really fruity and very acidic in a way.
This is always comes to me. It's like, imagine, the strawberry, you buy some time when it's a little bit greenish on the top. There's a little bit of that. Try again now. Think of that.
When the strawberry is not like ripe.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I taste it.
Yeah.
A little bit of the strawberry.
But in comparison to what you had at the Army versus this,
It's better, yeah.
is it
much better?
two different, like complete different drinks, you would say?
I never really I haven't had all that much coffee, different kinds of coffee. Mm-hmm. So I've never, I would never think that, what does it taste like? Are there any hints of certain flavors?
Right.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever the case may be. So
That's an interesting
it's
thing.
good though.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's definitely. And sometimes people identify, I need to drink coffee just to get the caffeine. But actually, this has a lot more caffeine and it has the flavor.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all together.
And none of the side effects that you get from coffee, like people do in the Army or in the plane or hotels, that you get that aftertaste in your mouth that just lingers throughout the whole morning. You just want to brush your teeth after you drink the coffee, like the heartburn and all that stuff. That's usually what I tell people too, is like, if you pay attention to it, you get so many benefits when you buy good coffee versus just going cheap and store-bought coffee.
But Italo is actually a maniac, dude. He doesn't like that. He just don't drink it. Like, we're in the plane and going to Las Vegas last week, man. And I was like, I just wanted to have a sip of coffee for me. Is good. And he was like, I'm not drinking. It's like, come on, man.
I refuse it now.
You suck.
I refuse it. Because I can smell it. When they're brewing it, dude, it smells like charcoal for me. Like, I can smell that burnt thing coming from miles. He doesn't care now. But the funny thing is, he created the monster. And he's not being able to feed it now, Yeah. So, but glad you liked it, man. Very glad that you at least you enjoyed it, because for not being a coffee drinker, it's definitely going to be different.
Yeah, after you have something that tastes really good, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
We're
Absolutely.
talking about wines.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
Yeah, and I have
Absolutely.
this. It's like, man, I had the best coffee at the Rio Grande show. Let's go.
All right.
go. Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Glad to share a cup of coffee with you. Definitely want to hear more of your story about, how do you say it? Do you spell it out or do you say GREA?
GREA.
Yeah? Okay.
We hear GREA too.
GREA, yeah, that's all I was going to go. I was like, but let me ask, never.
There you go. Don't butcher it up, man.
Right. But before I go, you can take this
Oh,
back
man. Thank
with
you.
you. So if you do get to drink some coffee or whatever beverage of your preference, you're going to remind
That's awesome, man.
remember
Thanks
us
so
a little
much.
bit in there. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'll be
Let's go.
watching from over there. Thank
All
y'all.
right. Welcome to Empire Living Solutions. This is a brand new business that we come out of a solution for a problem that we had. We're being struggling with buying material and goods for our apartment renovations. After 5 properties, over 750 units, we have a lot of turns. So by buying directly and forming our own brand to buy directly overseas and going to manufacturers and testing products, and after all these years, we mastered and crafted these products, and now it's available to you, syndicator, operator, property management, or even if you do flips or developing new construction, anything, we have solutions for you to save on cost of material and have a one-stop shop so you can run your properties to the max performance. What does the GREA stands for?
Gangster Real Estate Advisors. Someone asked me that
Yeah,
recently.
right on.
Really, so we were, a little backstory, we were Greystone Real Estate Advisors. We were part of Greystone, which is a big lender out of New York City, big Fannie Freddie HUD lender. And anyways, long story short, I mean, we decided to go a different direction. There were 4 founding partner offices, which is Detroit, Dallas, Houston, and Atlanta, that broke off. We knew that they were in talks, or there were 2 offices in talks with Greystone, Philadelphia and Portland, offices that were trying to strike a deal and never could. So we approached them and said, hey, this is our vision. What do you guys think? And they said, hey, we're on board. So then we're like, okay, what do we call ourselves? And we're like, well, we were Greystone Real Estate Advisors. We tossed around a lot of names,
Yeah.
but GREA.com was available. It's hard to find a 3 or 4 letter domain,
100%,
especially for
man. Yep.
the price that we got it for. So that was kind of the genesis. And then we're like, well, we got to figure out what the G stands for. And so we were tossing around stuff. And they're like, if you go to our website, it's cycles. So like generational, global, growth. So anyways, I think officially, like on press releases and stuff, it's like Global Real Estate Advisors.
Global. All right.
Yeah.
That's good. Cool, man. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And I like all the other words that you're using in there because,
Yeah.
make it great. So how did you get into the multifamily sector, man? What was that transition look like?
Yeah. So I was flipping homes not only in Central Texas, but when I first moved here. And so I got my license. I was like, man, like, I want to save a little bit of money. Some of the margins were a little tighter than expected. And I think one in particular. And so I got my license. I just figured, hey, you present a home, well, you stage it, present it well, price it well, it's going to sell. But long story short, I went to actually one of the R2R events here locally in 2016. Or maybe it was November 2015. I think is when it was really. And then I started to connect and network with a lot of folks who were doing syndication here locally. And I met Todd Franks and at the time, Paul Yazbek, who is started his own company now. But anyways, long story short, they said, hey, why don't you come join us? Because I was looking for something else to do. I was selling software at the time, but it just wasn't happy. I was looking to make a move and I'm like, well, I've got some money saved up. Because it's commission only as a brokerage.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I'll give it a shot for a year. If it works out, great. If not, I'll go find something else to do. I think I closed 8 deals my first year and
Let's go.
Yeah,
which was great timing too, right?
It was, yeah.
It was great timing. And I guess you invested in 32 different deals on your own?
Yeah. Starting with the very first multifamily property I brokered in Irving. I got approval from the seller. I was just so eager to invest in multifamily, and it's been a heck of a deal. It was in 2017. It was like 1,000 square feet units. I think it was 54 a door, and they've refinanced twice and returned, my initial investment to me twice over, plus, cash flow distribution. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that kind of got me going. And specifically with that operator, I've invested in pretty much every deal that they've done. They find good deals and they operate them well. And so with a variety of others too.
That's awesome, man. And so when you start investing in the deals, but on the brokerage side, do you have a specific niche that you focus on, some kind of criteria of deal size or vintage, or you guys are anything in Texas?
Yeah. So we're bifurcated into sub teams, and I lead our DFW workforce housing team, which is 50 to 300 units. Mm-hmm. That price point is usually like 7.5 to 30 million or so, somewhere around there. So that's my focus in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And so at the time of this recording, man, times are like, scatter and stuff. So what is your vision now for this time? Is it coming around? Is that like for sure everybody says about to buy, but what's your take on it today?
Just the market all in all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, transactions have slowed. So a typical year is usually about 4 to 5% of our total inventory. Yeah. Total number of properties turns over, trades hands. In the peak of the market, it was about 10%. Last year was about 2.3%. So it was, a very slow year. I think especially what we were accustomed to for a couple of years. But all that being said, there's still transactions happening. There's a lot more refinances of properties and sales. Fortunately, I think like the smaller sector, like sub 20 million space has been, maybe a little more stable. Dallas Fort Worth is the most liquid market in the country for sure when it comes to multifamily. So very fortunate to land in brokerage in Dallas Fort Worth, where there's just, it's easier to sell properties than if I were in another market.
So do you see for the rest of the year, like something coming in as a volume wise, what would it be the percentage compared to last year?
I think ultimately it's probably going to be pretty similar, maybe a little bit more. Everyone was very optimistic coming into the year with some of the Fed speak, Jerome Powell and some of the press conferences, with everyone was expecting multiple rate cuts. That sentiment has shifted a little bit with some of the data that's come out with regard to inflation. So people are, expecting maybe higher for longer, maybe less cuts, maybe no cuts. And so, I think generally interest rates have gone back up because of some of that. Yeah. And that's maybe cooled off the market a little bit. Because everyone was like, we had a sense of stability. There were a lot of transactions starting to happen. Everyone was very optimistic, and now that's kind of cooled everything off. So to answer your question, I think it's going to be probably pretty similar. When I went to a meeting at the end of last year with quite a few syndicators, everyone was telling me, you're going to be so busy in 2024. You're going to be so busy. And I was like, I hope so. Yeah. But the other thing is a lot of lenders with owners that are in these bridge loans, short-term loans. So there were a lot of these loans coming due or maturing this year and next year. And a lot of the lenders, especially the big lenders, not maybe the smaller debt funds, they're extending the loans out. So maybe the loan, per the loan docs, doesn't qualify for an extension, and they were 2 or 3 year bridge loans. Yeah. Well, they're giving them that time anyways.
Right. Well, I hear both sides of like some lenders and bridge lenders are just being like working with them, and some of them are not working with them at all. Yeah. Because, they're probably an opportunity for them to get that asset and just do whatever. Right. So it's kind of and I hear on both sides. But what do you think about capital now? Because that's the thing. I see everybody talks about that 2024 now is the opportunity for buyers to buy a deal. There's just distress or a loan maturing, whatever. But then I feel like, including myself, like the access to capital, because, the retail investors, it's being a little bit scattered and then a little bit, having a difficulty in other deals. Deals are not doing so great and whatnot. But I believe that greater entities or bigger entities that has, private equities, they do have to deploy some funds, right? You have to deploy some money there. So what is your opinion on that?
Yeah,
for capital?
I think there's a lot of what they call dry powder on the sidelines. And I think over the past couple of years, because there's been a lack of transactions, there's been more and more cash stockpiling, especially with, treasury bills and money market funds, they're yielding 5% plus. So I think some of these investors, smaller and large, have just been sticking money on the sidelines and watching it grow.
Money not making money is just losing money, right?
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of money that wants to go to work. I think we're starting to see some of that. Earlier, just a couple of weeks ago, Blackstone announced going to contract on AIR communities. It was like a $10 billion play. Wow. So everyone was kind of optimistic about that. That's signaling, hey, one of the largest real estate owners in the country is making a big play in multifamily right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
and what would you have to say for a piece of advice for somebody that is looking for capital and stuff like that, to be optimistic, or what was your?
Yeah, there's still some syndicators. When you look at the active buyers right now, and specifically the value add space, whether that's 2000s and older, generally there's more capital chasing newer assets. So kind of that 80s to 2000s is more of the sweet spot. But the active buyers are all syndicators, and I think generally that's because they have the ability to move quickly. They don't have to get certain approvals. Sure. They have more control over their equity. There's a variety of different reasons, but I can't remember the initial question.
Yeah, was people that are going after equity because they're also scared. Like, man, if I get into these deals, where do I find those equities or find money raising capital? That's actually my initial question. Yeah. And the deal flow for this last quarter. So you already said that you think it's going to be kind of the same as last year, but what do you think it's going to be for next year? Then 2025, I think it's going to be more volume.
I'd like to think so. I guess there's just so much that can happen between now and then. Right. But as some of these eventually, like the owners in bridge loans, will have to sell or refinance. Yeah. I don't think we can keep extending forever, and the market's either got to shift more favorable, interest rate environment, capital inflows, all that kind of stuff, or less favorable, one of the two. So. But to go back on your question prior to that, there are some people that are still raising a lot of money. Yeah. And I have a couple of two clients in particular in Salt Lake City, and they have so many investors that are selling companies. And so they've sold tech companies or whatever the case may be. And I don't know, maybe there's a big tech sector there. And then many of their investors too, they get from like door-to-door salesmen. Pest control, solar. So one in particular goes to these conventions, and a lot of these door-to-door salespeople do really well, and so much that some of them work like 3 months, and then they'll take three or 4 months off. Yeah, and they'll make $400,000 or $500,000 $1 million plus, and so. I thought that was pretty interesting, but a lot of them are really good at finding people who have sold companies, and they're looking to offset some of those gains through buying real estate. Especially
like if we see that bonus depreciation, coming at 100% again, man, that'll be awesome.
That'll be huge. Yeah.
That'll be huge, because that would actually help a lot of the syndicators, because that's one of the advantages, from this industry, man, having that, the incentive definitely helps a bunch.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Mark, talk a little bit about your operations, man. For GREA, what is you guys, how many people are there? What do you guys, a little bit of your organization? Yeah, nationally.
So we just added Raleigh, and we added New York City. And essentially we've been growing through mergers of established, right now, boutique firms in their respective markets, top 5. As far as maybe number of transactions or volume. So like our New York City office, for example, they kind of broke down private to institutional. They were number 2 private investment sales, and number 3 on the institutional side, 20 million and over. Anyways, that's really where multifamily specialized. We say we're an inch wide, mile deep. We're we don't have the big brand name to hang our hats on. So we have more of a gritty culture. We say it's like, you go to Applebee's, you have a bad meal, like, yeah, you're probably coming back. But you go to, Nick and Sam's Steakhouse and you have a bad experience, you're probably not coming back. So we got to make sure we deliver, best in class experience every time. And I'd like to think we're able to.
Oh, that's
do that
cool,
most of the
man.
time.
So if I had to ask you, what is your secret sauce? You just said it. Like this is who we are, and we provide service. Then that.
Yeah. We right now, we're small and nimble with 12 offices. We've got 100 advisors across the country, multifamily specialized, but we have technology and communication platform that allows us to really, track, and move capital across markets. We've got like 12 co-broker deals going on nationally. And it's like everyone talks about collaboration and unified front, like everyone being, every other large brokerage, but in reality, it's very siloed when you're in the industry. And we have people from, name publicly traded brokerage and they're all on their own CRM. Even, some of the offices in Dallas, Fort Worth may have 2 offices and they're, complete separate. So we feel like that's a competitive advantage to really help service our clients and get them best value.
And what you see the company going in the 5 years from now, like where you guys, more states or more cities or.
Yeah, we're really focused this year on growing West Coast.
Okay.
We've got a Portland office and they're on an island out there. So we'd really like to help them out. So we're in talks with, everywhere from Denver, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and so on and so forth. So it's easy because we know who the players are. It's just then from there convincing them to become a partner and join the platform. But it's the goal ultimately is to sell the company. I don't know if that's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years, or maybe never. Who knows? But we internally, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but we call ourselves ARA 2.0, or it's a similar model. So ARA sold to Newmart, and just like any company, when you roll up a company, you've got economies of scale. You sell on a higher multiple of EBITDA versus if it's just a one-off brokerage. So that's the thought process is let's get economies of scale.
That's awesome,
and at some
man.
point when the market supports it, exit.
That's awesome, man. It's good to hear all the perspective and how enthusiastic you are. There's like I said, we never had a chance to catch in a conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's super cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's something, really different than, being at a publicly traded firm and working for a boss. And I think there's some benefits in that too of not having the bureaucracy and some of the red tape. We're able to be more nimble. We have a true fiduciary to our clients, not our shareholders, and certain things like that. So
very good, very good, Mark. That's awesome to learn about you, bro. But we have some questions here that we're gonna put you on the spot, man.
All right, let's go.
And this is the Spilling the Beans with Mark Allen. Orlando Magic or Miami Heat?
Oh man, the Magic. Growing up, I had season tickets for 2 years, or we split them with a few people. So I was like Shaq, Nick Anderson, Penny Hardaway, and all those guys. So Magic.
Let's go, man. All right, live by the beach with only 2 months of sun per year, or by the mountains with the constant rain every other month?
Oh, that's easy. Beach.
Sandals or cowboy boots?
Sandals.
Oh, come on, man.
You got,
in Texas.
I'm South Florida at heart.
All right, only instant noodles for a whole month or only MRE for 3 months? What's MRE?
Meals ready to eat. Noodles? You said noodles for
ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles. I like ramen noodles. I think I could do that, although my cholesterol or something would go way up.
We got something in common. I like ramen noodles too, man.
MREs, I'm jaded. They're disgusting.
Yeah. Would you rather never enjoy music again or never enjoy food again?
Music. Never enjoy music. Yeah, I love food.
Music.
Yeah.
All right, cheesecake or molten cake?
Cheesecake.
Ah, there you go, man. Somebody told me they like cheesecakes. That would be great with the coffee that we had, huh?
Oh man, yeah.
All right, man. What's the best market Texas or Florida for real estate?
Oh, Texas, 100%.
That completes the Spilling the Beans with Mark Allen. Very good, man. Bro, it was great to connect with you, man. It's good to
You
see
as
you.
well.
So talk a little bit about how can people find your firm and get in touch with you, get you a distribution of your emails and get deals from you and stuff like that.
Yeah, GREA.com. If they want to see properties, GREA.com/properties. We make it really easy because that's a challenge too. Like you go to some of our competitors' websites and you got to like dig through all sorts of stuff. Just wanted to be right there, see all the properties across the country. LinkedIn, you can reach me on LinkedIn. And obviously, feel free to drop me an email, mark.allen@grea.com.
Very good, very good. And so you have an amazing journey, man, all the way when you're growing up to the Army and now and what you're doing. I love, by the way, what you guys are doing. But if you had to talk to yourself a piece of advice, what would you have to say to your younger self?
I think
Don't cry,
just,
bro. Just
Huh?
don't cry.
I looked like I was about to cry.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, but just patience. It's easy to get caught up. When I think of like my investing journey, like 2021 is like inflation, like get into hard assets. And like, so any cash I had in my self-directed IRA or whatever, just, didn't vet and analyze deals, just like, hey, what's out there right now? Okay. Like, here you go. But anyway, so I'd probably be a little more patient and do my due diligence.
Absolutely, man. Brother, thanks so much for coming to the show. We appreciate you. Love to, get to do a deal with you.
Yeah, I know. I hope
You
so.
know what I'm saying?
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it, brother. Thanks so much for coming to the show, brother.
All right, man.
Let's
Thanks
go.
for having me.
And as always, thank you so much for watching The Real Grind. This episode is sponsored by Empire Living Solutions. So if you're looking for a solution for your construction, for your multifamily, whatever you have that you need to buy wholesale when it comes to high quality, low price, look no further. EmpireLivingSolutions.com. That's the place you're gonna be finding amazing faucets, ceiling fans, you name it, you'll find it in there. Again, we're pretty much everywhere. If you want to listen to the episode, your favorite podcast platform. You want to watch it, we're on YouTube. So look no further. Give us a like on Instagram. Stick around. There's going to be way more good content coming your way. And as always, this is The Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success. Now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.